And breathe. This team never does things the easy way, do they? They never ever do things the easy way. For a large part of that game, my heart was practically like in my throat. Like I was panicking, stressing, worried out at my wit's end. But we've gotten it done. The job is over. Well, I don't want to say the job is over. To quote the late great Kobe Bryant, job's not finished. But wow, we're one step closer. We're one step closer. Man United will compete with Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final for a place in next year's Champions League. That is official. We will be returning back to Bilbao, which after the first leg, I should have been able to say confidently. But again, as we know of this club, they can never just make life easy for us, man. They want to put us through the pressure. They want to put us through a roller coaster. They want to test our blood pressure. They want to test our heart rate. And today, we were put through the ringer, man. We were put through the ringer. Man United entered this game with a 3-0 advantage, already having traveled to Bilbao. We talked about last week. That was last week. And looking at this game, this was really a game that we knew Bilbao, first of all, were hampered because they were missing the Williams brothers. They were missing Saiset. They were missing Vivian in the back. They were missing big players. However, we knew they were also going to come out hungry on top of things because, let's be real, 3-0, 4-0 doesn't really matter for them. But if they can get an early goal, all of a sudden things get interesting. And for us, I just kind of looked at this game and I thought, as long as we kind of just manage the game well, slow it down, play at our own tempo, don't get kind of sucked into like a boxing match between them going blow for blow, just kind of play our own game, we should be okay. But one thing I'm learning about this Man United team, and it's something that has to change next season, it has to, because guys, we cannot keep getting away with this, right? We have no bottle. We have no backbone. Seriously, at the slightest sign of adversity, we just lose our minds. We just go crazy. And we've seen it numerous times this season, right? But tonight, of all nights for it to happen, oh my goodness, they couldn't have picked the worst time. Bilbao, the first half, were on us, man. They were on us. They were popping the ball around us for fun. They were pressing the life out of us. They were creating chances. They got their goal in the stupidest fashion ever. Maguire, what are you doing? Onana, you have two hands on the ball. Save it. Bilbao take a 1-0 lead, and it's fully deserved. It's fully deserved. Bilbao were the much better side for, I would say, 60 minutes of this game. Like, much better. And they could have gotten 1, 2, potentially even 3. Now, on the flip side, Man United did have their chances as well, too. Naturally, right? Because Bilbao are going to press so high. They're going to throw so much at this game because they really have nothing to lose, that there would always be chances on the other end. And we had our chances. Dorgu getting a cutback, getting that deflected, a few counterattacks that kind of broke down, but the biggest chance easily was Dorgu slipping in Garnacho. Actually, a really nice pass from Dorgu. Garnacho finds himself through on goal, and you're just thinking, slot it past the keeper. Maybe even round the keeper. He had so much time, so much space. It was similar to the game against Lyon, harder to miss than it was to score. And you know what it is with Garnacho? I know this guy. I've clocked him already now, man. Garnacho, I know him better than he knows himself. Seriously, I'm watching him play. And the minute he picked up the ball, you guys probably thought this as well too, because at this point with Garnacho, he's predictable. He starts running at the keeper, and I looked at him. I said, "Oh, he's gonna chip it. He's gonna try dinking him." I know Garnacho, man. He can't fool me. I'm familiar with his game. I knew the minute he started looking at the keeper and hesitating a little, he was looking for the early movement from the keeper so he could try dinking it over. Why? It beats me. But the execution of it was so poor. So poor. Dinks it wide, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, is it going to be one of these games? Is it really going to be one of these games? Like, if Man United throw away a 3-0 lead at Old Trafford in a Europa League semi-final against a team missing arguably their 4 biggest players, it might be time to just give up on this club. Like, honestly, it might just be time to liquidate. I'm seeing Fergie in the stands. I'm thinking, we're really going to put OG under that amount of stress. We're going to put him under that amount of stress. He was at the PSG game last night watching liquid football, watching Europe's best. And we're going to put him under this stress. Us. He doesn't deserve that. Second half starts, and honestly, it's more of the same. I'm receiving texts from my dad. I'm receiving texts from Cam. I'm receiving texts from Joe Tomlinson. Everyone is texting me right now, bro. Like, oh my goodness. We're going to throw it away. I'm losing my mind. Sub this guy off. We're so bad. I can't take it anymore. And it's valid. Honestly, any negative feedback from Man United fans for the first 60 minutes of that game was completely valid. It was completely justified because we were that bad. We were that underwhelming. We were that lackluster. And we were that scared shitless. That's the only way I can describe it. To be honest with you guys, right? I'm looking at Amorim today, right? And look, I'm going to give him credit later because his substitutions for me changed the game. But I didn't like the way we set up to play to start the game today. I think we set up way too defensive. Way too defensive in terms of we allowed Bilbao to come onto us way too much from the start of the game. And I get it, they're a decent team, right? And we have the 3-0 lead. But for me, I did not like the way we set up today. We invited way too much pressure from Bilbao to a point that it honestly looked like we were just drowning at that point. Seriously. And I didn't think he did those substitutions early enough, because for me at halftime, looking at the way the first half was played, that's the time to make a sub, personally. However, second half, 60 minutes. Again, Bilbao are on us, and Amorim does decide to make the subs. And this is where I have to give him the credit, because the substitutions he made completely changed the game. Luke Shaw came on. Dorgu went on the right. Mason Mount came on. Amad Diallo came on. Those three, and in particular, the latter two, completely changed this game. Completely. Mason Mount and Amad Diallo. Take a bow. Take a bow. The reason we are going to Bilbao in a few weeks' time is because of those two. It's because of those two. And they proved ultimately why, above anything. And this is why ultimately the big Amorim debate, whether you rate him, whether you don't rate him, whether you think he deserves more time, whether you think he doesn't deserve more time. I've always been consistent with Amorim. First of all, I like him as a person. I like the charisma that he brings, and I hope he succeeds. However, I've always said, I'm not married to the idea of Amorim, and I'm also not like of the belief that he's done a really great job at all. I think, to be honest, he's admitted it himself. He hasn't done a good job whatsoever. But I'm of the belief that he deserves at least the summer and the next season as well too, because I look at the squad, and ultimately, as much as I don't rate the job he's doing so far, I rate the squad even less in terms of quality. And this is ultimately what the Amorim debate comes down to for me. Until I see him bring better quality at the club and then see what he deals with them, I'm not really going to judge him too tough. Because ultimately, Man United before Mount and Amad came on, and Man United after Mount and Amad came on, it was a completely different team. It's literally night and day. It is literally night and day. And even with Shaw, right? Like, as out of shape as Shaw looks at the moment, and he is not fit, that is without a doubt. If Shaw, Mount, and Amad are fit, they start in our team. They start in our team, undoubtedly. Whether you rate them to a crazy degree or not, they are starters in our team when everyone is fit. That shows you where Man United are, but it also shows you what kind of quality they bring. Mason Mount today had his best game ever for Man United. Now, that's not saying much because you have about 10 games to choose from. He's been here for 2 years. There's been an APB out for that brother since he arrived. He has been honestly, so unfortunate with injuries. I actually feel for him, but he hasn't been available. However, today, because previously, I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at his cameos of the last few weeks, and I'm thinking to myself, Mason Mount is just coming on for cardio sessions. Like, he's just running. He's just hacking at people. They're not really that impressive. But for me, quality of Mason Mount, honest to God, has never been an issue for me. I think Mason Mount is a very talented player. I will not forget the Mason Mount that made his name at Chelsea, the Mason Mount that at one point was a fixture in the England squad consistently, and the Mason Mount that we paid a lot of money for a reason. There is quality there. That I don't think can ever be doubted. It's the availability. But today, Mason Mount might have actually just solidified his place in the squad next season because of that cameo, but also has had a huge part in booking our flight to Bilbao, because that cameo was everything and more. That is everything you want to see from Mason Mount. Everything Mason Mount has in his game was on full display today. His industry, his athleticism, his ball winning, his ball carrying, his technique, his flair, his eye for goal, his eye for a pass. It was all on display. His eye for the audacious with his last goal. Everything was on display. That was that is a great performance from Mason Mount. Seriously, if Mason Mount plays like that every game, we actually have a very, very good player on our hands. And I'm of the opinion, if he's fit, which again is always the question with him, if he's fit, I would be starting him in the final. I would. Now, you guys are probably going to think I have an agenda. That's fair. This is just my opinion. If you think I have an agenda, I have an agenda. But this is where I stand on things. In the final, I would be starting Bruno and Casemiro in central midfield, because I think Bruno Fernandes can honestly impact the game from a creative point of view wherever he is on the pitch. You could play that brother left back. He's leaving with chances created. And I actually think his discipline in his game now is so much so that you can have him deeper. Honestly, he can play that role perfectly. I would have Bruno and Casemiro deep. I would have Mason Mount and Amad as the number 10s, and then I would have Hojlund up front because that's all we have, right? Even if you want to throw Garnacho in for one of them, fair enough. Maybe you want to bring... Nah, you know what? Nah, I wouldn't. Like, big up Garnacho. He has his moments, right? But I would bring him off the bench. I maintain Garnacho is a better impact player than he is a starter. And maybe those legs, that speed, that danger that he possesses against tired legs later in a game, that's when you want to bring him on. That's how I would start the final. I would start Mount and Amad as the 10s, and I would start Bruno and Casemiro. Then bring Ugarte on if one of the two deeper guys gets tired, which I doubt it would be Bruno. Then bring Garnacho on to change a game, and then all of a sudden you're looking decent. But I think the football that we played when Amad Diallo and Mason Mount came on the pitch, completely transformed us. It allowed us to at least regain a semblance of control in that game. And then all of a sudden, we're creating chances. We're running out players. We're exciting the fans. We're scoring goals. Amad Diallo is an absolute genius, man. He is a special player. Special player. Seriously, this is one of those ones I will never, ever sell my stocks on. I started the season probably on the outside looking in because I don't think a lot of people looked at Amad as like someone who could be a serious presence for this team this season. Started the year of Ten Hag, who famously did not really rate Amad as much as Amorim has. He was on the outside looking in. He was getting subbed on in games where Mazraoui was playing in his position. And you look at him now and the impact he had at that one point in the season before his injury. Amad has easily been the most improved player at the club. And I don't even know if I want to say improved. He's just finally got an opportunity and he's taken it with both hands. And he's shown as well, too, post-injury, since he's come back, that little period wasn't a fluke because he's come back in. He's carried on where he left off. This guy is so good, man. Seriously, every time he gets the ball, he is just twisting defenders in and out. He's putting balls in dangerous positions. He's putting defenders on their ass. Amad's a brilliant player, man. Brilliant, brilliant player. And if he's fit, again, he's starting for me. The last goal from Mason Mount is the pick of the lot. Wow. Even before that, right, there was this one play where Amad is picking up the ball, beats one man, then plays it into the feet of Mason Mount with this audacious little flick into the path of Harry Amas. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, we're playing again, man. We're playing. Look at when you put the best footballers on the pitch, what can happen? Quality will always count. And that's why I continue to say, Amorim, I'm not trying to give him a free pass for this season, but he's got to be given the chance to at least bring quality footballers in. If not, guys, I'm sorry, this current squad, I'm sorry to tell you, maybe they won't finish 15th under a different manager, but they aren't doing anything special under anyone else. There's too many passengers in this team, and it shows when guys like Amad and Mount come on and immediately change the game. Immediately. So those two, I think, deserve all the credit. And the last goal from Mason Mount, I mean, the first one was brilliant as well, too. Shades of Federico Macheda against Aston Villa, 08-09. You know the goal I'm talking about. On the half turn, bending it far post. I'm like, this is quality, man. This is why we bought you, Mount. Thank you. And then the second one is even better than the first. Oh, my goodness. Audacious from Mason Mount. Damn near the halfway. Maybe, was it the halfway line? Maybe I'm gassing it a little, but it was far. It was far. And on his left foot as well, too. I know it's an open goal, but still to score from your left, to even shoot it, to have the confidence to shoot it from there, and then also score on your left. Brilliant. Brilliant for Mason Mount, man. Brilliant cameo. I'm very, very happy for him because it's been a tough 2 years at the club. He's never been available. When he's come on, hasn't maybe had the impact that he wanted, but hopefully this can be a game that like turns a leaf on his Man United career and like kickstarts it from here. I really hope so, man, because I like Mason Mount. I really do. Other great performances, Leny Yoro. Wow, 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 wow. He has grown leaps and bounds this season, man. Maybe at times at the beginning of the year, growing into the league, also playing it in a system that he's never played in, right? He's already a young player, but he's played in a back two his entire career, having to basically acclimatize to a new system, to a new role. And yeah, at times, I'll never forget that Suleimana game. Maybe that's your welcome to the Premier League moment. But since that game, Yoro has practically been flawless. And he's showing his skills on full display right now, right? His tackling, his reading of the game, his ability in the air. But more impressively than anything, it's his ability to carry the ball out from the back. This guy's moving like Rio at the moment, man. In terms of picking up the ball and just going for a run. He's moving like Rio, honestly. I'm super impressed with Leny Yoro, man. Super, super impressed. Bruno, to be honest with you, didn't play his best game today whatsoever. In fact, today was like shades of the old Bruno in terms of pass accuracy wasn't great. Kind of trying passes that weren't on. It wasn't his best performance, but with Bruno this season, honestly, he's one of the only guys I'm like turning a blind eye to his bad performances at this point because he has so much credit built in the bank at the moment. I can afford him a bad day. But today, if we're being real, it wasn't his best day, even though, even on his worst day, he still pops up with an assist to Casemiro, who continues this crazy run in the Europa League that he's been on. Like I said, this isn't Casemiro, this isn't Case. We're getting Miro. We're getting first season at Man United Casemiro back. Popping up with goals, breaking up play, getting our attacks started. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Shout out to Hojlund as well, too, for getting his goal. It wasn't pretty at times, but yeah. For strikers, goals are their currency, so I can't fault it. I can't fault it whatsoever. Congratulations on getting your goal. And congratulations on Man United and Ruben Amorim to getting to the final. However, I will say this. Guys, we cannot play that way in the final against Spurs. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, I'm going into that final confident. I'm not overconfident. I'm not cocky. I'm not arrogant. I'm not writing Spurs off. This is a team that's beat us three times in a row. In fact, I can't remember the last time we beat Spurs because we didn't beat them last season. You know what? The last time we beat Spurs was in 2022 when Antonio Conte was coaching them. We beat Spurs last in 2022. In fact, it was the game where Cristiano Ronaldo walked off the pitch because he didn't get substituted on. That's how long it's been since we beat Spurs. It's a long time. We're due one over them, but also I'm under no illusion that this is going to be a very, very difficult game. And one thing I don't like, and maybe I've fallen into the trap a little bit too, and in fact, it's very ironic coming from me because I literally made the same argument for Real Madrid beating Arsenal, and I got literally egg on my face. All this talk about heritage and Man United in finals and ooh, it's Spurs. Guys, Real Madrid showed us this season that stuff only really comes into play if you're a good footballing team. If your footballing identity and your tactics and the way you set your team up is all over the place, it doesn't matter how much heritage you kind of have built up. The better team will beat you. So all this talk about Man United, let the fans first of all talk like that, right? We can talk like that, but I really hope that's not kind of playing on the players' minds, because at the end of the day, as fun as it is to talk like that, it's not real life. If Ange Postecoglou sets his Spurs team up better than Amorim sets his Man United team up, and Spurs' players take the assignment on hand more seriously than the Man United players do. It doesn't matter if they're playing for Spurs, if they're playing for Genk, if they're playing for London FC. It doesn't matter if they're playing for SDS FC. It doesn't matter. They will beat Man United. And if they play like tonight, Man United, they will lose. The last 30 minutes of that game is how they need to approach the Spurs game. The first 60, we will get played off the park within 30 minutes, easily. And I'm not even trying to gas up Spurs here, because Spurs are in a similar predicament to us in the league, right? They're not great either. They have their own issues. But this season, I would probably say Spurs have been better coached than United. They have their own issues, but they've been better coached. I think in terms of expected goals scored in the league, they rank highly. They are a good attacking team. It's defensively where you can really, really hurt them. But I really hope no one is underestimating Spurs. It's fun to run our jokes and stuff, but you play the way they did today against Spurs, we are in trouble. Can we win this final? Absolutely. Do I think we will? Yes, I do. I am backing my team, of course. Do I think it will be easy? No, I do not. Am I nervous as hell? Yes, I am. Will I be trying to do everything in my power to go to that game? Yes, I will. Any sponsors watching this game, can you message me on Instagram, Twitter, or email me to potentially get me a partnership to go to this game? Yes, you can. Please. Please, I want to be in Bilbao so bad for that game. But yeah, man, we'll probably run a preview closer to the actual kickoff of the game. I will kind of make a video similar to how I'm going to do for the Champions League. I'll make a preview for both these games, and we'll properly dissect this game, how each team can win it, where the game can be won or lost, players to watch out for, how I think Amorim should set up. But tonight is a night to just sit back, enjoy your night, and yeah, breathe. That's the most important thing about tonight. Breathe. We have made it. Job's not finished, but we're almost there. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys very, very soon. Man United are going to the Europa League final, and this season, straight from hell, might just have a light at the end of the tunnel. Catch you guys soon. Peace.